Dragon Ball has always been about epic battles, explosive transformations, and yes, the infamous power levels. But have you ever stopped to wonder how a fighter who barely needed training could suddenly be millions of times stronger than they're supposed to be? Today we're breaking down the biggest power level inconsistencies in the franchise. Remember those days when the scouter reading was the only measure of a warrior's strength? It wasn't long before we discovered that the scouter wasn't only precise. Originally designed by the Tuffles for spotting dangerous enemies, it was repurposed by the Saiyans and Frieza's crew. Yet it often misfired the measuring subtle differences in ki. In fact, some argue that the device was never meant to be an accurate gauge, only a rough estimate of your raw talent or raw power. Every time the stakes get higher, the numbers got fuzzier, as if the writers were pulling a number out of thin air to give us a jaw-dropping moment. Take Goku's Kaio-ken for example. In theory, the Kaio-ken should multiply his base power level linearly, yet in some battles we see it jump from 90,000 to 3 million in a matter of seconds. How is it even possible? It turns out that even as serious, those multipliers are more about plot conveniences than consistent physics sites. It's almost as if numbers have become a storytelling tool where power-ups are dedicated solely by what looks cool on screen rather than a consistent rule. Then came Dragon Ball Super. Power scaling in DB Super has been one of the franchise's most debated topics. In the Beerus saga, power levels seemed almost consistent until the next arc, where transformations happened like clockwork, just because the plot demanded it. Characters like Frieza or even Goku suddenly surge in power over months, or sometimes even minutes, defying all previous logic. One article on Game Rant's lists 10 things that make no sense about power levels in Super, and we're definitely not alone in our confusion cycle. It's almost as if numbers have become a storytelling tool, where power-ups are dedicated solely by what looks cool on screen, rather than any consistent rule. At the end of the day, Dragon Ball's power scaling is less about hard science and more about the capturing of the spectacle of its battles. Yes, the numbers might not add up, and yes, a scouter might not be wildly inaccurate, but that's the part of the charm. The inconsistencies remind us that sometimes it is the feeling of the overwhelming power that counts, not the precise math behind it. How do you feel about these power level puzzles? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell for more Dragon Ball Deep Dive. Until next time, stay powerful.